What do you think the Niners' plan is for Jimmy Garoppolo? How are they going to handle the trade?
Well, it's clear they're going to work with him, right? Like you heard the press conference, and our reps are working. The 49ers are not going to send him to I'm going to say a team name, but I'm talking about like a situation like
a Jackson
send him or Cleveland, right? Like
Cleveland.
they're not going to send they're not going to send him off to football
Siberia.
Right, like exactly, right? Like they appreciate what he's done.
No.
Right. They appreciate what he's done. They are gonna do the right thing by him, right? Like they are, and that's good. So that means,
I'm with
right?
that.
We've seen reports, and you know what's funny about like the people leaking the possible teams he's linked to? It's the same teams that all of us people who don't know anything have been linking him to the entire time. The only one that was added was Tampa Bay, only because Tom Brady decided to retire, which I'm not even fully.
I want to say that Mike Evans would not stand for that for 2 seconds.
No, Bruce Arians would blow his brains out. Bruce Arians would blow his brains out.
No, I don't. But there are some teams that I could see actually talking themselves into this. So.
Right. No, Tampa is not one of them. Like I still don't see the fit. Look. Say what you want about Jameis Winston, and Bruce Arians put up with the picks because he threw the ball down the field. How is he going to work his offense with Jimmy Garoppolo looking like a guy running down the field and saying, "Nah, man, I'm just going to take the check down"?
Mike Evans would flip out.
Yeah. So Mike Evans has the NFL record for 1,000-yard seasons in a row to start his career. That would end.
It would end.
That would probably end.
Oh, it would.
Not in Tampa. Right. So no Tampa, but like Pittsburgh, Washington.
To me, Pittsburgh is the natural. Here's why. I think they want to go back to being the blue-collar run-first team that they were before Ben Roethlisberger got there. They drafted a running back in the first round last year, and he's the kind of guy who you could actually give 25 carries a game. They have the defense. They could tell themselves, we'll send a third-round pick to the Niners for Jimmy Garoppolo, and we'll have him for 2 years, and we'll draft a quarterback, but at least – we'll have this guy, and we can say we can win, because of our defense and run game, we can win 10, 11 games with him. Look, to me, Pittsburgh is the most likely, and that's why they're the favorite in Vegas.
Right, and that's a team that we've been talking about, like mostly, but like when we've done this. And I mean, when you look at how that offense operates, there's a reason Deontay Johnson has 300 receptions every single year, right? It's because everything is intermediate. Like you literally don't have to change anything. But Javi has a different opinion, and I'm gonna let him talk on it. And it's just based on all right. So look. Jimmy built up a lot of goodwill here, and he built himself a leash, right? But I'm gonna lead that, and I'm gonna toss it up to Javi so he can finish up because he makes a really good point here about Pittsburgh.
All right.
Yeah, I mean it's Pittsburgh, right? You're going in to replace Big Ben. Big Ben has 2 titles. They have not had a losing season in 15 years or whatever the number is. Pittsburgh. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a Pennsylvania native. That market is much more volatile than say the 49ers beat writer market, right? He's going to be asked these questions. He's going to be put under the microscope. Do I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a bad player? Absolutely not. Jimmy Garoppolo is a product of the Kyle Shanahan system. But I think Ben Solak said it best. Jimmy Garoppolo is a product of the Kyle Shanahan system, but the team who trades for him is only getting Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
Can the Pittsburgh Steelers mask his deficiencies the way Kyle Shanahan did? I don't think so.
No one can. No one can. No one
right?
can.
So I don't think there really is a legitimate fit for Jimmy Garoppolo anywhere.
Right.
Just because most teams –
if I were Pittsburgh GM, I would say no thank you to Jimmy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think most fan bases, even down here in Mocha, we've been talking about it a lot. There's guys from every fan base around here, and no one wants the guy. It's crazy.
No.
But there's
third choice, right? Everyone wants to see what happens with Rodgers and Wilson. This guy's not getting moved until those guys. There's some clarity.
Exactly.
There, right? And why would Pittsburgh move on Jimmy when you could get Russell Wilson?
Yeah, or you go cheaper, and we saw Mike Tomlin literally have like a 45-minute conversation with Malik Willis out of Liberty, the quarterback. So they're looking.
Are they in position?
They could probably get Malik Willis at 24, wherever they're picking at. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Malik's not going to go in the top 10. Yeah. So there's, this thing's going to draw. I think this thing's going to drag out until right up until the draft with Jimmy on the Niners roster. And I've said it before. I said on Niners Nation, there's a world where Jimmy might just get released. And that's the worst case scenario because you're not getting anything back for him.
See, to me, if I were them, I would take whatever I could get as soon as possible. If someone offered a third round pick tomorrow, I would say yes, thanks. Let's do it. Let's agree.
Yeah.
Here.
So it's just one of those things with Jimmy, and then there's another part of this. Like, remember the Kyle Shanahan, he's like, I don't want to be left at the altar. There's going to be teams that don't want to be left at the altar in this quarterback market. So, yes, they might end up getting desperate and do something wild, like give a third or a second for Jimmy Garoppolo, because these franchises view Jimmy Garoppolo way differently than the fan base or you and I. They're, if they can see some level of stability that he can create or maintain while they're trying to make the transition, that's why Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense too in that sense as well. Because Ben's gone, but I have this really good defense and I have some really good skill players, but my offensive line sucks. But if I traded a third-round pick and I just focus on my offensive line in the first 2 rounds, then I can kind of max this guy and then stay 8, 9, 10 wins.
And then get a new
while
quarterback.
I'm looking for the next guy. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's the only reason it makes sense. Yeah. But honestly, if we could just Malik Willis, do that. That's better.
Yeah. And then Jimmy's career, and I hate to even say it, but Jimmy's career is going to turn into Ryan Fitzpatrick at this point. That's where he's headed. Yeah, he's just a bridge guy, stopgap guy, super lovable guy. The fan base will love him. You'll win a bunch of games, and then you'll have like the Niners fan base where you have guys like me and Jason and you. We're looking at the process over the results, and then you have other fans who are like, oh, well, he wins a whole bunch, but you only won because of this, these other reasons before you get to him. So if I'm the Niners, I take whatever someone is willing to offer and just go, just do it.
It's going to be hard because it's not going to be a 2, and people are going to say like, "Oh, well, you lost on this deal. You took a 3, whatever, man. Whatever you got out of him, and you got a 3, and move on. Just move on."
Yeah, and this reminds me of the Alex Smith situation in Kansas City. But Alex Smith was a better quarterback, right? So that's why he was able to get 2 seconds out of Washington, and then he went to Washington. They were winning games before his freaking ankle and leg exploded. So, it's the Jimmy situation is just it's going to be really tough for any team to really sell themselves on it, because if fans like you and I and Grant, you're journalists and stuff like that, but if fans can see the deficiencies in Jimmy Garoppolo, what makes you think a scout or another NFL GM doesn't see it? That's why I never bought the idea that the media is trying to hype up.
Everyone knows what Jimmy is at this point. There's no disagreement. Everyone knows what he is at this point. So any team that wants him is going to be like, well, we can do what the Niners do. We can run the ball. Yeah. We can play defense. We can minimize his mistakes. Well,
exactly. And then the other part is
Super Bowl, though.
The other part of this is like when you hear fans or you hear other media people like Jimmy's value is at an all-time high. It never changed. Like it's been the same the entire season. Like who's trading for 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions or whatever it was, or 12 interceptions? No one's trading for that. No one's trading for that. It's just I don't know. It's gonna be a really weird offseason. There's gonna be a lot of change around the coaching staff, players, everything else is gonna be really wild this offseason.
They better wrap this up quick. They better not let him stay on the market too long, or else it get weird.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Also, to put a bow on everything, because I knew that's where he was going, is that different fan bases are going to view him in a different way. Different organizations are going to view him in a different way. He built up all his goodwill because when he came here, he had never lost a game, and then all of the things that happened, have accentuated the conversation around him. To put a bow on this, Grant, and I know that we're not necessarily done speaking about this man, Jimmy Garoppolo, thank you for everything. Appreciate you, buddy. I'm done discussing him and what his limitations are, who he is, what's going on. It's done. It's over. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's done.
That's the
Trey
next
Lance
thing
is playing next year. Move on.
No, I want to say one more thing before. I don't want to talk about
that's your business.
I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is 2 more teams that I think we got to mention: Saints and Texans, because neither one has a coach. So we'll see we don't even know what direction those teams are going to go. We'll see what coach they have. They could potentially be in the market, considering that the Saints have Taysom Hill and the Texans have
Davis Mills, baby.
Davis Mills. So yeah, those are 2 more teams. I think we can move on.
We talked to a Houston guy yesterday, and he said, "No, I'd rather roll with Davis Mills and progress with him."
Smart. Good man. I love it.